pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, welcome. Our first item on the agenda is just information resignation of Robert Valerie, who was serving on the Economic Development Commission. His term was from 11/21 to 11/26. He resigned on July 19th. And for information purposes only, item number 4, we have, I'm appointing as an alternate David Downey, Warner Hill Road, and his term will run to 11/24. He is filling a vacancy that has been left by a member who moved to a full member. And I believe Mr. Downey is on the line. Hello, Mr. Downey. Can you hear me? I just want to thank you very much for stepping up to serve in this capacity. Your resume is quite extensive, actually, and you're quite knowledgeable in this area. So we welcome having you join the Conservation Commission. They are. It's always very helpful to have people who have knowledge and background in that area. So thanks so much.
I think that was probably the most extensive resume that we've seen submitted.
Yeah. You can speak. Go ahead.
I should say it's not. I apologize. I don't have a resume. I've never left college. So that's an academic CV, and I do apologize.
You don't have to apologize.
No apologies necessary.
No. We're excited to have you, and you're very knowledgeable. Thank you for being here today. And I tell everybody who's being appointed, you're welcome to stay, but you're free to leave. So it's up to you. Thank you. Our next item, can I get a motion to approve Jennifer Anderson of Mill Plain Road for appointment to the Economic Development Commission to fill a vacancy for Robert Valerie, and this term will run from 11 to 11/26.
Is this for information purposes only? It seems to be under that your appointment.
Isn't this isn't Jackie? Isn't this a voting item or no? The economic development, B. Item number 4.
It's on the agenda as for information purposes.
Yeah, it says it next to the I know conservation is, but we haven't done one for economic development in a while.
I couldn't remember.
I can't either. Do you happen to know Attorney Baldwin? Now he's like, oh, I gotta pull out.
Pop question.
Pop question.
Handy charter here. Appointed by the first selectwoman, the director of economic development.
Created 7 members appointed by first selectman.
So it's only, okay. So thank you, Nancy, for clarifying. Yes, this is for information purposes only, but I am appointing Jennifer Anderson, who is with us today. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you? So I chose Jen. Jen stepped up. She has a lot of experience in this area. I think she'll be very helpful. As you may know, Jen works for Fairfield University, so she's very active in the community through her role with the university and obviously with many businesses that are engaged with the university. So Jen, do you want to speak at all about your interest in why you want to serve on the commission?
Sure, sure. Thanks everyone for the time. So just to give a little background and context, I attended Fairfield University back in the 90s, as did my husband. We have lived here in the town since 2002. We have 3 children at Ludlow Middle School. And for the past 8 years, I've served as the Vice President for Marketing and Communications for Fairfield University, and part of my responsibility is community relations. So my team and I work very closely with Mark Barnhart. We have a lot of history and involvement in the downtown bookstore. We're very focused and active in promoting the arts around, both from the university standpoint and what we do in conjunction and partnership with the town. And so for me, it's really both personal and professional in the sense that, I'm passionate about, the town and love living here, but as a, employee at Fairfield University and certainly in the role that I serve, I have a vested interest as well.
Thank you, Jen. Is there, does the board have any questions for Jen?
No, I'd just like to say thank you for stepping up to serve, and best of luck to you in the new capacity.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks. Good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right, well, thank you, Jennifer, really, I do appreciate it. I know you have a full plate with your 3 children and your position, but we really do appreciate it. Economic development is a very important priority for my administration, and I think you're going to be I think your input is going to be extraordinarily helpful for the entire commission as well as Mark. So thanks again for stepping up.
Thanks, Brenda. I look forward to it.
All right. And you're free to stay or leave. It's up to you. I'm sure you,
Sounds good.
I'm sure you have other
See
things.
you all later. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
Take care, Jen.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is item number 5. Can I get a motion to hear and consider and act upon the request from the WPCA to appropriate $625,000 from the WPCA fund balance to finance the cleaning of the primary digester?
So moved.
Seconded.
And we have John Bodie here, as well as the Vice Chair, Joe Davanzo, to present this item. If you would just go up there, that'd be great. Thanks so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's got a little, yeah.
Okay. Just a little background. The primary digester has been in operation at the plant since its inception in the 50s. We send 2 separate waste streams to the digester where they are heated, mixed, and it reduces the amount of solids by 40 to 60%. On April 24th of this year, we suspect the outlet pipe clogged, causing an overfull condition, putting pressure on the cover. It subsequently then broke 10 of the 12 mounting brackets that affixed the cover to the tank and caused unknown damage. The tank needs to be cleaned before it can be repaired. So this money was appropriated to do the cleaning. We did bid the cleaning and we got a hard price, which was $531,600. We had a little contingency because the amount of product in there is unknown at this time. That's what I have.
Sound a little fuzzy. I'm sorry. Is anyone else having issue with sound?
Only that I'm hearing a lot of background noise, but it's not fuzzy for me.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there questions from the board?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How much is currently in the fund? In other words, how much of the what percentage of the balance is going to be used by this?
I think there's about 14 million. I don't know the exact number.
Jared, do you have an exact, or do you have a close to exact number?
I do. The amount, John's right, 14.5 million.
Okay. Second question, was it anticipated that you would need to do this, or is this solely the result of the issue that you had that you described earlier?
Did I anticipate? It has to be cleaned every 10 years. This is just expediting that cleaning.
So how long ago was it cleaned then?
20 years ago.
So so it's supposed to be cleaned every 10 years, and the last time we cleaned it was 20 years ago?
That's correct.
Why is that? Do we know?
I can't speak for those that were before me. This was something I inherited, so.
Does that mean what's the implications of that? Does that mean we were inefficient? Has that cost us anything to our knowledge?
Not till now. We've been reducing solids. It's been doing its job. It may not be up to capacity, but there was no ill effects.
Okay. Does this have any impact? I know there's a project that's going to be coming forward at some point. We've been talking about it forever, but rebuilding the area and all that, does this have any impact on that project whatsoever?
No.
I wouldn't think. I'm
No.
just asking.
No. And if we repair it the right way and it's up to today's standards, I don't think we'll have to touch it in the upgrade.
Okay. Jared, is there anything from a financial perspective we need to know here, other than this is the cost and it includes some contingency for what you don't know until you open this thing up?
From a financial perspective, no, it's this particular project is pretty straightforward. I think John Bodie laid it out well.
Yeah.
There will definitely be more costs coming down the pipe, depending on what they determine once they get this cleaned out and can see the full extent of the damage.
Does this put off any other projects that were contemplated? In other words, are we just backing things up here because of this issue?
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that part.
No, we're not backing anything up. No.
Okay, so we're not pushing anything out or pushing anything off or deferring maintenance or other items to be addressed because now we've got to take this 625 and put it towards this.
No, sir, not at all.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Tom, I wanted one other thing. We do have an insurance claim in for this.
Okay.
So we will we'll see what happens with that and whether or not it's accepted and to what extent. So
what's our deductible on that? Do you know, Jared? I know a lot of our deductibles are, $500,000. I don't know that.
I want to say it's 500,000.
Yeah. So this would be 120. The best we're going to do is get 125 back on this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
On this piece of it, but the insurance claim will be for any additional costs that come down the pike too.
So do you have a number in your head, Jared, other than, you got the 625, which includes some contingency as pointed out. What's our risk on this? Do we think it's a extra 250, an extra $1 million? Do we have any gut feel on that?
It's hard to say now, and John Bodie could address this further, but I know there's work being done on RFP for whatever damage is done and the repairs that need to be done, as well as any transportation of material. So.
And the good thing with cleaning it first is once it's clean, now we can look in there and we can see exactly what needs to be done. So there's no guesswork. There's no, by the way, we found this, by the way, this. So we hope to have a good handle once we get it cleaned. What's
the ETA on this?
Once they start cleaning, we're hoping they're done in 60 days. But I think we gave them 90.
Did they tell you they can start cleaning immediately?
Yes, they can.
Okay. First of all, thanks so much. The last comment I have is, I guess your board approved this unanimously. Just last evening?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm good. I appreciate your assistance and good luck with the project.
Thank you.
I don't have additional questions. I'm curious if the vice chair has anything to add that would help, or if everything was covered.
If there's not any additional questions from the board, is there?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any additional questions from the board?
Yeah, I was wondering if the vice chair, I understand Joe DeVanzo is in the room or on the line. Does he have anything to add? I don't have additional questions.
No. I mean, Joe is in the room. He just said he thinks that Mr. Bodie covered it.
Okay. No additional questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, so there's no further questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Okay, you too. Okay, our next item is to hear and consider, can I get a motion to hear and consider and act upon compensation for town department heads?
So moved.
Seconded.
So I'm here, and I have our HR director, Kathleen Simpson, as well. Just before I hand it off to Kathleen, I just want to say that, as you know, each year I recommend a cost of living increase for our department heads who are not in unions. Some require approval from the Board of Selectmen, which in your backup is page 1. And then on the second page are at the discretion of the first select person, and those are for information purposes only. In 220, I just want to give some background. In 220, for 223, the ECC was given a 2.25 increase for their contract. The nurses are at 2.5. Their contract was settled this year. PETA, which is our professional union, they're at 2.5, and police settled at 2.75. I am recommending a 2.5% across the board for our department heads. You can see where the 3 captains that we are recommending 2.75 to be in line with the recently negotiated and completed police contract. This is a situation where the captains are exempt employees and could potentially make less than their subordinates, working comparable hours as the captains do not receive overtime pay. Accordingly, the 2.75 for captains, I believe, is necessary to resolve potential pay inequities. And under the captain's employee contract, employees are expected to devote most of their time and energy necessary to properly perform their duties outside of, in addition to their regular work hours, in addition to without additional compensation, other than shift differential, which is normal and covered under labor laws. So I just want to open, I wanted to say that, and then I want to open it up to have Kathleen Simpson, our HR director, discuss the rest of the package, or backup. Yes. Good. Right, yeah. That button or the little one?
Nope, wrong one. On the,
This one,
on the
Kathleen.
black line.
Oh, okay.
Nope, wrong button still.
Oh, this one?
There you go.
Oh, all right. Hello. Nice to meet everyone. I'm Kathleen Simpson, the HR director. And basically, just to follow up with what the first select woman said, we looked at this, and the 2.5 seemed more than reasonable considering the trends with the other contracts. And if they have any questions, I'm available to answer.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the board.
Yeah, a few questions. Nancy, do you have anything? I'll defer to you if you want to go first.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Sure. So it sounds like, Brendan, from what you put together here, that what you're recommending is in line with what we're giving other unionized employees throughout the town. Is that correct?
Correct.
And are we doing anything, or is there a study underway to make sure that we're in line with other towns, municipalities, cities around the state to make sure that we maintain our competitiveness in fulfilling these positions? Because I know we did lose a couple of department heads relatively recently, so I just want to know what we're doing on that score.
I was going to mention that, actually was going to bring it up before you said, when we were finished with the board questions. Yes, I'm working right now with our HR department to put together salary adjustments for some of our positions. We have lost our building official recently to a much higher salary, and we're conducting an analysis on some of the positions that we currently have with other towns to see how we're matching up. Many positions allow employees now to work from home, among other benefits, and we're seeing that we're going to have some trouble competing with increase in salaries where we think there might be a gap. So I'm going to hopefully be able to come back in November after that analysis is complete to ask for similar what we did with Julie DeMarco. If you remember, when I first came in, I had evaluated her role, and I realized she was extraordinarily underpaid in comparison to the other people in the Fairfield County area who were doing the same work as she was. So we did a reset of her position. So it wasn't really a COLA, it was a reset of her salary to bring her in line with other senior center and human services directors. So this is a similar thing that we're working on. We just want to make sure we have a lot of good information to be able to present. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in November.
No, I appreciate that. I've seen that a lot in private industry at this point. Lots of hiring issues, lots of movement, lots of jumping around to jobs, and there's a lot of market dynamics. So that part makes a lot of sense to me. I'm glad to see that these are in line or close to what we're doing for the employees on the contracts that have been settled. I think that's pretty appropriate as well. So from that perspective, I'm okay with this. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
One last thing before I turn over. I'm sorry, Nancy. The funds for this are put aside, so this does not put us in a negative situation in the budget or anything, Jared, and my apologies, Nancy, for jumping on you there.
Yeah, yes, the funds are in contingency, and they're, without going into too much detail, there's sufficient funds there.
Thank you.
It actually dovetails on to my question, if I may.
Sure, go ahead, Nancy.
If you could, and Jared, perhaps it's a question for you, explain the overall process, because I understand that this comes from contingency, and we had talked about this around the budget table. And I appreciate the information because it's good to be, transparent about it, and I appreciate the cost of living raises and certainly support that. But could you talk about what the process is? Because I didn't think our board voted on what transfers out of contingency, and maybe I'm not totally clear on that. I thought that was a Board of Finance job, so to speak. So could you clarify what has to happen in terms of this process?
Yeah, I think what you're probably referring to is really the fact that a lot of this conversation, because of the sensitivity to revealing too much information about what's happening in contracts and what the amount that's being set aside in contracts, that a lot of it takes place a lot of the conversation takes place with the Board of Finance in executive session. And so, details around how much, exactly what percentage we're setting aside and what the dollar amount is, that all happens during executive session. And then it's, we go through employee by employee, determine what the dollar amount is that would be needed to fund at those percentages, and put that amount into contingency as a reserve for when and if the contract settles. So then that's in the case of contracts that have expired and need to be negotiated. For those that are already that have already been executed and are current, we know what the cost is because it's in the contract, and we can just put it directly into the department's budget.
So the idea is that, as a follow-up, then you take the information based on what we voted on here and then actualize it based on this? Because again, I didn't think that it was, okay, so I didn't think it was in our purview to have to actually vote on this because it was in contingency. So I didn't know that this would be something we would.
Let me just jump in. So we've done this before. If you remember the last time we did it, we gave zeros in COVID to all the department heads that year, if you remember. And then we followed up the following, and we gave 4 to cover for the 2% and 2% for the years they did not. For the 2% year, they got a 0, or the year they got a 0. But how it works is that contingency and all of that is done during the budget process. And then when we vote on the COLAs or the increases, we vote on them as the Board of Selectmen. Then it goes to the Board of Finance, and then they transfer the money out of contingency to be able to go to these raises.
And no, and I
Or
completely
COLAs.
appreciate that, and I'm not questioning it. What I'm questioning, really just procedurally, I didn't think that because it was in contingency, that it was something that the board very specifically, because we're voting on these amounts and these percentages. I didn't know that we actually voted on that, but here we are. So I was just trying to understand the process, but now it goes to the Board of Finance. I understand.
Yeah, we did it last year, if you remember. It's the same process. There's the list that the Board of Selectmen approves, if you remember, and then there's the list that is solely under the discretion of the first select person. And then that's all from the charter, the way it's set up in the charter is how that works. Is there any additional questions from the board?
I'm good.
Is there any questions from the public? Okay, I don't see any. All right, I'll bring it back to the board. If there's no additional questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And we have item number 7. Can I get a motion to consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $19,016?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none?
None from me.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I am going to ask for a motion to go into executive session regarding pending litigation, and I think it's Berenzi versus Town of Fairfield with attorney Catherine Krieger, and a blight issue at 166 Grashmere Avenue with Town Attorney Baldwin, and update on Penfield remediation recovery efforts with Town Attorney Baldwin. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. So let's wait till.
All right.
Oh, wait, I need my mouse back.
Hold on, bring it to the picture. I'll just do WebEx image. All right, I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion for items A and B under item number 8 to proceed with the recommendations of council?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number C, can I get a motion to proceed with the town attorney's recommendations?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I do want to just mention for the record, there were no votes taken in executive session. I should have said that earlier. I apologize. Is there any other matter that anyone would like to bring up before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I think because it's a special meeting, we can only go to.
That's true. You're right. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. Well, motion to adjourn, please.
All for it.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks,
Aye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.